Hi there, welcome to the Bride Guide 101 with Jade and Gemma here today from the Wedding Rooms in Kidderminster, our beautiful bridal shop. So we are looking to save you money on your venue and all of your bits around your wedding.
So we have 7 tips to save you £7,000. We've broke it down and they're not little things, they're actually quite big things that we think you could save money on. So we're going to go straight into it. So number 1, Jade, is what?
Venue.
Yes.
So obviously it's an obvious thing, but when you're looking to book your wedding, really look at your venue. Can you have it all in one place? Now that'll do for different things. It will save money on transport. I had my wedding, my ceremony somewhere else, so I had to think about getting to and from, and if I want to make it a little bit fancy. So if it's all in one place, you're going to have, it'll save you money because you're in one place. You haven't got to worry about it. Now, I'm rubbish at maths, so Gemma is the money person here. I'm just here to give you the titles.
Well, I've worked it out based on my wedding. So when I got married, I had it all in one place. So I didn't go for a Saturday, and just for not going for a Saturday for my venue saved me £2,000. So we had it on a Friday, which was a bit risky because obviously some people are still at work. But I think if your guests in the day really want to be there, especially for us because we only had a small amount of guests, so if they really want to be there, they will make sure that they can come in the day. And then obviously by not having it on that in 2 different places like Jade's already said, that saved me money as well, because I literally walked from my bedroom where I got ready down to the ceremony and then into my reception.
And your partner might not care about the transport because he or she'll get
I didn't
there.
give him a choice. I was like, you don't need a fancy car.
Well, I feel like that was a setup for your whole marriage, Jade. I'm in charge. I say what goes. But also, you know, going back to the days of the week you have your wedding, I've been to Tuesday weddings, I've been to Wednesdays, Thursdays. It doesn't actually matter.
I feel like it's a thing now.
Yeah.
I feel like you can do it in the week, whereas before it was like, oh my God, like it's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I feel like it doesn't matter now.
No.
If it saves you that much money, then £2,000, like for me, was a lot of money. Number 2, now this is actually quite a big one, and it does depend on where you have your venue, but if you can buy your own food or you can have outside caterers, I think you can save just under £2,000 again. So again, I'm using mine as a price point, but I paid £58 a head for my guests. So if I'd have had 50 guests, that was £2,900. So you went to a wedding.
I did. It was an amazing wedding. They had picnic hampers, and I'd never had it before. And it was amazing. So in the little picnic basket, you had like sandwiches, a quiche, a little bottle of Prosecco.
I'm in.
Yeah. I was like, this is amazing. Because actually, it's controversial, but no one really likes wedding food.
Yeah.
I think cooking en masse for people is incredibly difficult for a venue. So with my wedding, I was like, nobody likes wedding food.
But you had barbecue, didn't you?
I had a barbecue because it's like everybody likes a barbecue. I don't want to spend that money and people not slag it off, but moan or just like an undercurrent of like, that's not that good. Like, I like my food, so I was like, everyone likes a barbecue, but actually we come down like a roast dinner.
Yeah.
People are a bit like, I like my roast potatoes crispy, others like, I don't like them that
It's like you can't please everybody, so if you give them something where it's a bit pick and choosy.
And I think the venue where we had the wedding I went to with the picnic hampers, it was really relaxed.
Yeah.
And actually we all sat in little deck chairs, and it was just a really nice way of doing it. I really enjoyed it, and it was something different.
Yeah.
We've been to a lot of weddings, a lot of us. So when you do something different, it is a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And you can pick and choose what you put in there. And you can spend as much, I mean, I put down a budget of £20 per hamper, which I think is quite a lot. If you want to go a little bit higher end, it's still not £58. But that in total, for your 50 guests, would save you just under £2,000 on food.
See,
and fundamentally, right, I went cheap on my wedding ring because I'd had to spend these money, obviously, on my guests' food. So that £2,000 could have gone on my wedding ring that I'm going to wear. Yeah, on me. That I'm going to wear for the rest of my life. Instead, I paid for a 3-course meal for some people.
Yeah. The 3 is photographer. Now, I didn't spend, so I think most people kind of ballpark figure for photographer these days is about £1,000.
Yeah.
You will get some stunning photographs, and we've seen our brides with amazing photographs.
Oh, some of them are just
And I never
amazing.
had that. I did have a photographer, but I had an up and coming. He hadn't done many weddings. He was new to it, you know, part time, a student. We paid nowhere near £1,000. I think it was a couple of hundred. Now, our photographs were good. I have nothing wrong with them. They weren't these arty sorts of shots, but the photographs to me weren't that important. So I think in terms of, you've got to weigh it up. Do I want to spend £1,000 on a photographer, or do I want to get a new, an up and coming even student? For about 200, we'd seen it as when we
well, you can find a student for about £200. So it depends again how important. I mean, we had somebody that dabbled in photography as a hobby, and he came down and did it for us. And now this is probably controversial because I know some people love their photos. I wasn't that bothered. I don't look back at my wedding album. That isn't me. I'm just not that sort of person. I'm not a materialistic thing that has to keep things to remember something. So for me, it didn't bother me. So that's another £800 saved. But again, these things, you decide how important they are to you, because you might say, well, I don't mind having my venue on a Friday, but I'm definitely a photographer and I'm happy to pay £1.50. But if you've just saved £2,000 on your venue, then you can do that. So you haven't got to do all of these.
Yes.
You could pick and choose. So 4. Now, this is a good one, I think. This is a bit of a DIY, and there's lots of things you can do with this, as in there's like donut walls and stuff like that. I picked a photo booth because I thought, I've been to quite a few weddings where they've had a photo booth. So
everybody loves a photo
booth.
booth.
Like, you know, you've had
You can't get me out of one. Like, where's
no, you can't get yourself in until about 8 o'clock.
No.
And then you're like, no, move out the way. Give me the hat. Big glasses. So they cost about £600-ish. I mean, obviously you get deals and stuff, but this is what we've researched, about £600. So we thought, okay, how can I do that DIY? There's a Polaroid camera you can buy for £60. You can get films for £100 for loads of the little, because they're quite expensive actually, but they're still not £600.
Yeah.
And then you can go on Amazon, and I think it was for £12.99, you can get yourself like a little bundle of all fun things to do. So that saves you £427.
So you get your DIY hands out. I'll be there. I'll be okay with that.
Well, you can decorate that corner, can't you?
Yeah.
You know, you can mess around. You can have someone taking them, or you know, they can take it in turns. But again, it's just that you've got something fun there to do. A bit like your sweet cart. You know, obviously you can save money on that and do it yourself.
Yeah.
But little DIY things. You know, do you need to hire somebody? Now, if you're the sort of person that's like, I can't bother with all that, and you have to pay £600, then that's your thing, isn't it?
And that's it. Weighing it up again. So 5 is your wedding cake. Now, I'm not a baker, so I'm coming from this from a completely different...
I'm paying someone to do it.
Interestingly enough, with my wedding, wedding cakes can get very, very expensive because their time of the person making the cake is obviously what you're paying
and the
for.
ingredients.
It's intensive, time intensive. That's my point. There was a point somewhere with that.
Dig, dig.
Where was it? It's a Monday morning here. So my mother-in-law, she does bake, and she made cupcakes. So I brought a top tier cake, so just a plain white cake, put it at the top, hired a cake stand, and she made all of the cupcakes.
And guys, they were so moist. Honestly, they were like some of the best cupcakes.
What Gemma kept talking about?
They're so moist.
Yeah, I just kept, the best man came up to me and he was like, what's wrong with Gemma? She kept just saying, oh, this is so moist, this cake's so moist. And then he was like, obviously, she was off on one. And then I had Gemma come up to me and go, what's wrong with the best man? He just doesn't get how moist these cakes are. So they were good.
Didn't understand.
But obviously, if I'd have baked them, they wouldn't have been. They'd have been like rock hard
My
cake.
expectation was low, mate.
So if you're looking to do a DIY cake, see if anyone can bake. Or, well, we're going to a video on this.
Yes, we are going to try and get a wedding cake that looks good, tastes good, for under £50 DIY style. So watch out for that video, because neither of us can do anything.
It'll be either at work or it won't. I feel like that's where it's going.
So basically, number 5 could save you £350, or we might be coming back on going, no, you need to spend £400 on that wedding cake.
Yeah.
Number 6, right, now this is something that we can really help you with, obviously owning a bridal shop, and it's buying a example wedding dress and cheaper bridesmaid dresses, which I'll come to in a second. So example wedding dresses, it sounds a bit horrible, I think, when you say example, but basically all it means is we buy a wedding dress in, and when the brides come in, they'll try it on, and if they love that dress, I order them a new one. At some point, we decide to get rid of that dress, or it gets discontinued. So let's say it's a £1,200 dress. We then put it over into our example section, which basically means you're buying that particular dress, and we will normally do 50% of the price, won't we? So it's £600 then.
Or you're having a dress, a high quality dress, but it's just been tried on the bridal shop. And a lot of bridal shops do this, don't they? They have huge example sales. So when, a couple of times a year they might have these sales. So it'd be worth if you know the bridal shop, contact them before to see if there are, but you can potentially save yourself £600 on just having a dress that's been tried on.
And it's the same dress that we would have ordered you.
Yeah.
You're not having, like, I mean, the only thing I would say is it might be an older season. Yeah, so an older, like, it might be last year's season. And you've got to make sure it fits or it's too big, because the seamstress can do work with it, but obviously it's got to be within reason that it fits. So your choice is limited a bit more, but if you're on a budget, I mean, we both bought examples, so...
We did, and I think it's that going where you need it to go, your money.
Yeah.
You know, if you can, because ladies, when they come into our shop, we'll always go from both sides, with the gowns to go, which is the mixture of the example and dresses we have in to be off the pegs, obviously, if you haven't got delivery time. But we'll always go in and out of that section, because I think if you can save someone money, why wouldn't you?
If you love the dress, you look... And you know what? You know, we'll always ask a bride whether they want us to shop in that section or not, and 9 times out of 10 they're happy with it, and no one cares once you found that dress that you love. You don't care if it's from the reorder or it's from the gowns to go. So £600 I've put down for a saving for that. And then, interestingly enough, we used to do bridesmaid dresses, so we used to sell them between £150 and £200, and we had to sell them at that price, didn't we?
What we had to buy them for.
Yeah. And then the other day we did a video, so if you haven't seen it yet, we reviewed 5 online bridesmaid dresses for under £40. Whew, that was a sentence to get out there.
I was really impressed that sentence. I was just watching. Is she going to get to the end of that sentence?
And our favourite one was £20, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So if you've got 5 bridesmaids, you're either spending, what did I put down, £750 or £100.
Yeah.
So there's another £650 saved.
And I feel like with the online bridesmaid dresses, and it's covered in the video, but as long as you can return them, you're not out of pocket, as it were. You're putting that cost out. And personally, I think if I was to get married again, obviously my husband doesn't want to hear that. But
Am I bridesmaid again?
Yeah. What dress am I going to have?
It's £20.
I'm digressing now. I'm already going over to a bridal dress. But I would 100% go online for my bridesmaid dresses.
100%.
Because it wasn't like it was 10 years ago.
There's some really,
ago.
really good quality, nice dresses, actually.
And interestingly enough, that's why we stopped doing bridesmaids, because we couldn't compete with the online prices, and we like to believe in our products.
Yeah.
And they were like, it wasn't before 10 years ago, like I said, when it was like really bad made bridesmaid dresses. And we're getting ripped off, people were a little bit, going, something arrived, it didn't look like that. But now they're really good quality and a nice fit. So
there was only really one of them that out of the review that we did that we perhaps wouldn't have worn, isn't there? And if you watch the video, it's the one I fell over in.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
So definitely look at saving money on your dresses.
Now, the next one is a little bit controversial.
Number 7, so this is our final one.
I think you can save money by not sending out any wedding invitations. There, I said it.
Oh, someone didn't join
me. Now, my point is with this, and again, it depends whether you're the sort of person, because I don't keep things like that. So I get one through in the post, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. One side.
Yeah.
Now, you do actually like to keep them.
I'm an organised person. I keep it all together with my hotel reservation. Like, I definitely reserve that room. I mean, and then it comes to my car with me. You know, if you turn up, I think you turn up, they're like, I didn't invite you. I have an invitation. This is my pass. I'm in. But I think, you know, in terms of money, you know, a lot is spent on wedding invitation and save the date cards. And a lot of time and intensity if you're doing it yourself. So when Gemma said this, I was like, no. Then actually start thinking about it, because we had the idea.
Talked you around, didn't I?
She talks me around. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to send her invitations.
Because you can build a website. Now, don't be scared by this.
No. Because if we can do it, anybody can do it.
You can go online and you can basically design a website, which is your wedding website. So you can send the link out to people and just say, go on this website, all the information's on there. So if you still want to be creative, if you were liking the idea of being able to do your own invites, you can be creative online. And I feel like that, for me personally, that'd be better. Rather than me rooting around in a bit of paper where I've lost it, I can literally just go online and go, there's the information, there's the menu, there's all the times, there's the hotels. And also, you can link on, if you're asking people for money, for instance, towards your honeymoon, you can link on a little pot there for your honeymoon, and people can just transfer it straight over.
And you know, we're always trying to think of ways to be greener. Yeah. Actually, you're sending out all this paper. Is it needed? You know, maybe a save the date card, so you're physically having that, right, that's the date, because, you know, will people miss a link?
Yeah.
But, and then I think, like, consider having a website for your invitation.
Well, I think what happens is, and maybe this was just me, but part of me died while I handmade my wedding invitations. I was like, this is fun on the first 2, and then 150 later was like, I don't care anymore, like whether that flower's straight or not.
I actually can't remember my wedding invitations.
This is my point as well, though.
You've got to think about your wedding. I mean, I was different when I planned my wedding. I was very much, what do I enjoy about weddings? I love the entertainment, whether it's DJ, a musician. You remember the dress. I genuinely don't remember the flowers. I don't remember the food.
Neither of us can remember if we had wedding favours.
Well, yeah, this was the other thing. We sat down, we were like, what do we do at our wedding? And I couldn't remember if I had, even if I had wedding favours.
No.
I remember pots of sweets on my desk, my tables.
Yeah,
and like our flowers, I kept it really, really simple. And I think that's when you're trying to do a wedding on a budget. Remember, you want to be married. You don't want to get yourself in massive debt for one day. You want to celebrate and with the people you love, a massive thing. You're celebrating your wedding and your marriage. Do you want to end up in like £15,000 worth of debt so your guests could have a favour?
And this is the thing. I mean, if you invite 150 people and they're £2.50 each, you think, oh, £2.50, that's not too bad. That's £375.
That's the maths I was talking about.
£375 or a free website with all the information. You can put photos of through the ages of you two being together. Mm-hmm. Like, you can make it really cute as well. Like, it doesn't have to be non-personal just because it's on a website. And it's like a new up and coming thing, I think.
Yeah.
I think people will start doing it more and more.
And I think, it's a good way of doing it. You can post links from any hotels that
Yeah.
you want people to stay at, wedding down, all the little things you do, and how can you save money. Like I said, these are our 7 tips, but you go, right, I'll pull that from that one. That isn't that important to me. And I think that's what you need to do with your wedding.
Well, all of those things will save you, well, we've got it down at £7,102 to be precise. Now, the one thing that I scrimped was 2 things I scrimped on really bad on my wedding, which I wish I hadn't done. One was the dress. I did buy an example, but I went quite cheap. My dress was £350. And looking back, if I'd have saved money in other areas and tightened it up, I think, like, why did I scrimp on something that was mine and like a big part of my day? I was wearing it all day.
Well, and we see a lot, because I would do the same. I think now we're in bridal, the dresses are amazing. And I'm like, oh, I wish I'd
just
spent
that little bit more.
Just pulled that little bit more and not had, certain things at my wedding so I could spend that little bit more on the dress. Because we get like dress envy all the time when our brides are stood there in massive dress like, oh, I wish that was me.
And I love my dress, but I think that's one thing. And my second thing was my wedding ring. It was one of the last things I bought. We'd outspent all of our money on everything. And now I'm like, what's left from my wedding day, other than my memories, is my wedding ring that I wear every single day for the rest of my life. And it was the one thing. So, if you had £58 3-course meal, guys, I paid for it. I didn't have the best ring, whereas actually I could have saved myself £2,000 on food, and I could have had a gorgeous ring that I'd have worn for the rest of my life.
So, to reiterate, these are our top points. So, think about your venue.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
Photographer.
Photo booth.
5, wedding cake. 6, your wedding dress and your bridesmaid dresses. And number 7 is your wedding invites. Now, like I said, pull from any of those that you need to. And in the comments, actually, if you can think of any other ways to save money for us to know, or for everyone else that watches this, pop that in as well, because we want to know that.
Yeah, if you've got any hints and tips of what you've done or what other people have done, put it in the comments, and then at least every other bride can save from it.
Yeah.
And like I say, you don't have to do this. If you're happy to spend £20,000 on your wedding and it's going to be the day of everything and you don't want to do a thing, you want to hand it over to someone else, all the people that do these jobs, the wedding photographer, the people who make the cakes, they do amazing jobs, and you probably won't get it as good as them. But if it is about budget, and unfortunately a lot of people it is, then these things can help. So we hope you found it useful, and we will see you next time.
Bye.